This is the sluggo, slant and go.
I don't know what is up with that intro music. It like goes real fast and goes real slow, then finally evens out. It's probably my $9.72 computer I'm using to do this show with. So here's the question. You said you may not be able to make it tonight, and I said, okay. So I'd already planned out the show, and I was going to call it Where's the Beef? Because that's very original, right? Nobody's ever heard that one before, and I can't believe we haven't used it in one of our 54 previous shows. But where is the beef tonight?
Well, if for those that have listened to Chopping Beef before, I'm actually in Mom's basement. So that's actually where I am tonight. I'm in Mom's basement, where my studio for Chopping Beef here in New Jersey.
So Nelson's checking in and said, let's get the party started. I can't think of three more overused cliches already. Let's get the party started. Where's the beef? In Mom's basement. So we're off to a rollicking roaring start. And Nelson wants to see the bottom of the T-shirt. Fitness.
Pumpkin pie in my mouth. I'm into fitness, pumpkin pie in my mouth.
That's hilarious. I like that one. And Kevron checks in from Cope. Where's he at? He's in
Cope, South Carolina.
I was going to say Cope. Yeah, I was going to say Cope. That didn't sound right. Let's get this train rolling. All right. Beef is in New Jersey, but he's in Mom's basement, not figuratively, literally tonight, as you're in the process of moving your life to South Carolina. Now, I told JP that last week because I thought I may need him tonight because you're, this.
Who knows where I am?
Yeah. And I said, well, I may need you. I said, Beef is moving to South Carolina. And he goes, for real? So what's going on with your move?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's happening. It's kind of slower go than some other people may have wanted, or myself may have wanted it to be. But that's eventually my wife and family and I will be moving to the Hilton Head area of South Carolina. So going to the Low Country, trying to find a job first or transferring. I may be able to transfer within my own company. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But the wife and kids are going this weekend. I'm going to stay on board here in New Jersey in Mom's basement until I can land a lucrative career.
It's funny because we talked during the week, and I told you that sometimes when the wife and kid wife and kid is here, they're asking me to do things like 30 seconds before I got on with you. Parker wanted to tell me about the 1912, Chicago Pink Sox or whatever, and I get frazzled and got all this stuff going on in my head. But when they're gone, it's like, I don't know what to do with myself. I mean, I'm, like I told you, I'm front porch drunk singing the Meatloaf, and the neighbors are going, what in the hell is happening over there? That guy didn't even come out of the house hardly. He's out on the front porch singing to a 1980s song. So if you need to call me when they leave, call me. I mean, you'd rather talk to them, but call me.
It's so funny. I have a whole boatload of friends here in New Jersey that we went to a private school, private Catholic all boys high school together, and we are best of friends. We are each other's, aunts and uncles to our kids and things. And life happens, right? You can't really see them. But when the wife goes away, and I'm free and I have that time, it's like I'm all over my friends. So they'll be getting a lot of phone calls from me here. I think I'll be busy, and I'm going to continue my umpiring prowess now that, even though I thought I retired for the year.
JP says those would have been mighty big shoes to fill. Not counting the hat too. The hat would have been big to fill, right?
That's literal, not figurative. There, yes.
Oh, we're off to a rollicking start, and apparently Nelson's had a little bit to drink. Myrtle Brock is on the way to Hilton Head Beef. Free food. Okay.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we passed you actually on Sunday, and I thought about you for a split second, but had a couple more hours down the street that I needed to get to, and it was getting late at night. So,
Oh, this is fun. We've had a great start to the show here. Hey, Casey, the Elite 11 quarterback camp, I guess it's called, is this week. And some notable names there: Cade Klubnik, Quinn Ewers, Ty Simpson, A.J. Duffy, who's going to Florida State, Connor Wegman of Texas A&M, and Malik Murphy, who's going to Texas, and your boy, or Dylan Callahan Crowley's boy also, Gavin Wimsatt, just going to Rutgers. Now, I heard something interesting this week. Oh, dollar for the vets. I think we're at 30 now. I heard something intriguing this week that they have the highest rated QBs there, obviously with Ewers, Klubnik, and Simpson, but they also invited a couple of guys that are down the pecking order a little bit, maybe to prop them up and give them some name, give them some recognition and some airtime. So it'd be intriguing to see what comes out of that, because we know Klubnik outdueled Ewers on the field in December, at least, or I think it was January actually this year because of COVID. He outdueled him on the field, because I watched that game and it wasn't even close. So is this something you follow? I haven't in years past, but I might this year.
I haven't really followed it either, but I do read about it all the time, and it is televised at times too. So it would be nice to see these guys play. But once again, it's another one of these competitions of guys in shorts, right? And I know that some folks really can, I don't know, some folks can see the skill sets that these guys have, but until they're strapped up and playing with 5 guys chasing after them, at least 5 to 7 guys chasing after them, this is just for fun. And so it's a great group. I'm excited to see. It's big names. They're going to big schools. Guys that Clemson fans will be seeing, like AJ Duffy, guy like Ty Simpson, who shunned Clemson for Alabama. Wimsatt, for my own personal reasons, I want to see how good he can be. So I will tune in and at least watch the highlights of it and read about it. Definitely, no question.
Yeah, and you wonder how much that this is a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? These guys have ranked these players in a certain way, and how much is I guess left open to interpretation, that they're not going to throw their rankings away because of what happens in a few days, as you said, underwear Olympics or shorts Olympics or whatever, and it's not the same as game action, for lack of a better term.
Absolutely, and I think that they name it Elite 11, and I don't care how many golf carts you miss, you're not going to drop very far. It's called Elite for a reason. And Clemson fans out there have seen Taj Boyd in there, have seen Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, DJ Uiagalelei, and now you're getting Cade Klubnik. So it's kind of a who's who of Clemson quarterbacks that get invited to this thing. So it's a lot of fun.
The Clemson Invitational.
It seems that way.
It'd be nice. Since we last spoke, Clemson received a commitment from a 4-star edge player, Jihad Campbell, from IMG, number 143 overall, by way of New Jersey. Now, we were just talking last week with Dylan about the players that New Jersey puts out in Rutgers recruiting, which is one of our second favorite topic on this show. And this is another Jersey guy. Now, he's playing in IMG, and it says Florida right now, but he's a Jersey dude.
Yeah, we're excited about him up here, definitely, especially the Clemson fandom that I do hold. Jihad Campbell, I like this get a lot, and it was a name that me personally, hasn't really put a lot of stock into this season, or this recruiting. What do they call it? Cycle. I really, when you even text me, you said Campbell's gonna sign with Clemson this week. I literally had to think about it. It's not like some of these other names that if you said their last name, I would know exactly who it was. So I had to think about it, and I was like, wait a second, I know the name because he's a Jersey kid too, an IMG kid. And I was like, is that the edge rusher from IMG? And you said, yeah. So what a great get. It felt like that he was going to not fall to Clemson, but high energy guy, big motor, big kid. I really like this get for Clemson.
Nice. It was a nice get. Clemson now has 7 4-stars, all in the top 200. But as Nelson pointed out in our text chain yesterday, there's not that elite top 20-ish type guy. Klubnik's the highest ranked guy at 65 right now. Who knows? Good showing. He could go up, but I don't think he's going to get into that range. Good showing at Elite 11, I should say. He may go up a few spots, but there are other opportunities still out there for Clemson. Travis Shaw, for one, and there are some other names that are higher than 65. I think Keon Sabb is in the 50 range, if I remember correctly. Clemson overall now, there's been a ton of commitments because we're going dark again. Dead period, I should say. And Clemson, there's been a ton of commitments all over the country. They were 20th right after Campbell signed. Now they've dropped a notch yesterday and a notch today. They're 22nd. But there's big names on the board still left, and Clemson's not going to finish 22nd in recruiting.
No, they're not. And you can hear, if you look on Twitter, there's certainly some other teams and maybe a rival program that's excited about the fact that they're ahead of Clemson already right now. But we do have to remember it is only July. The big recruiting cookout is coming for Clemson fans, and Clemson big-time recruits coming in. That usually yields a couple commits. I once again, I know you and I probably disagree a little bit on this. I don't think it's time to panic. Unfortunately, there's a team in the Midlands that picked up about 11 dudes this week alone. So I think that's going to cause a lot of in-state folks a little bit of angst that South Carolina's getting a lot of players this week, 2, 3, and a 4-star. But Clemson recruits different than everybody else in the country. So I once again, I trust this staff has built equity. I trust the staff to get it done. They're going to finish in the top 15.
I don't think it's time to panic. I was hovering over the panic button, but Campbell going to Clemson made me feel a little bit better. I'm still concerned about Simpson. Apparently choosing Alabama over Clemson at one time is thought that Clemson was the way to go. There was the name escapes me now, but the linebacker in North Carolina that ended up at Georgia, Jalon Walker, ended up at ended up at Georgia. He was thought to be going to Clemson. And Travis Shaw, that's 3 5-stars, right? If I'm correct, that Clemson has missed on the first 2, and the third seems to be wavering, though JP, that seems to change by the hour, and JP could tell me something different in the comments. So it's not that it's a panic overall, but when you miss out on 5-stars, and it's not just any 5-stars, 5-stars that you have no chance on. These are 5-stars that you were in the running for and thought to be the favorite for at one time or another, and you miss out. That's where the panic comes in.
Yeah, absolutely, and I get that too, and I think that's the key, right? That they haven't had them on campus. It's kind of the whole system that Dabo and the Tigers have really put into place and set in motion, and have reaped the benefits of it in years past. Has kind of been a wrench thrown into it, so they're trying to figure out how to waver this and figure it out. I mean, I said that already, but. They're trying to figure it out, and one by one, piece by piece, they're getting guys. Hopefully, you don't miss on Sabb or Shaw and Lucas, another one. So I think if you can get two of those 3, that's going to be a nice payday for the Tigers.
That's a great point. If a 5-star falls to Clemson, then I'll feel a lot better. The big scheme of things, you're probably right, and I'm a little paranoid, but I want to see that 5-star before I count him. And JP says, can you say Jeremiah Alexander, who I looked up and who's ranked number 16? He's another edge player out of Alabaster, Alabama. Number 16 overall, as said, number 1 in that position, the number 1 player in the state. Now, JP obviously knows stuff we don't know.
He knows a lot we don't know.
What I'm looking at says 100% to Alabama for yield crystal ball. And let's see if JP's favorite person has chimed in on that crystal ball. No. One guy says he's a lock to Alabama. The other guy has it as a low prediction. So two to Alabama, but we'll see. So maybe a little bit of foretelling there from JP.
Oh gosh.
Shaw's status just changed again. Where's he going this week, JP?
He
What
went to
is?
North Carolina over the weekend, so
Oh,
they probably
okay.
wined and dined him too, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's why you got to read. That's why you got to read si.com, allclemson.com.
OnClemson.com, JP does a fantastic job. I can't keep up with it. My head spins so much about these kids going back and forth and to and fro. And every week they have a favorite school and another favorite school. Nelson says, we've also got less than 10 commitments so far. We're still top 10 average recruiting ranking. I agree with that, Nelson.
Yeah, absolutely.
And JP says he is decommitted from Alabama. I didn't realize he was ever committed. Tells you how much I know. Allclemson.com.
Yeah.
Jason Priester byline, JP Priester byline. That's what you need to check out, right?
Well, it was funny. I read this week. It was great because, or maybe it was last week too, about Shaw. It came out that it was pretty much he was gonna be let go almost from, and then I think it was the next day or the day after. It was, well, hold on a second, that's not done yet. Shaw to NCA&T. Nice.
That could be. It's never over until it's over. Hey, I was checking on the recruiting rankings right before we started the showcase, and a shocker, a top 100 cornerback committed to Ohio State. Terrence Brooks, number 58 overall from Little Elm, Texas, going to Ohio State. Ohio State has 15 commits now, 7 in the top 100, 11 in the top 250. Wow. Whatever Ryan Day's got cooking up there is working because they're going there like, what's it, flies to steak or whatever.
We're having problems with our cliches tonight. Myself more than you. But yeah, the Ohio State, the rich get richer, man. It just feels like the top DBs outside of a couple and wide receivers, it seems, are at least heavily flirting with the Ohio State. And they just keep getting them, man. And just that number of 15 recruits, all in the top 250, that's impressive. I don't care who you are. That's unreal.
A couple other names we'll run by you here. Joe Bruner, a 4-star, number 55 overall, offensive tackle from Milwaukee, commits to Wisconsin. Big shocker there.
Yeah, top 50 offensive lineman in Wisconsin. That water is wet, Marty. Water is wet.
Yeah, Ryan Brubaker, 4-star offensive tackle. You referenced South Carolina earlier. This guy is their only top 250 commit that I've seen recently, number 245 from Denver, Pennsylvania, commits to South Carolina. This was a big deal for South Carolina on social media because this was a guy they battled Penn State for. I don't know if that's true or not, but this is a guy they battled Penn State for and came out ahead. So not a bad get for South Carolina, a top 250 guy.
Not at all. Not a bad get at all. And literally everything that I read said that he was stolen from Penn State. It was almost signed, sealed, delivered. I think he's got a high school classmate that's a big-time recruit also that's going to Penn State. I believe there was an assistant coach at some point that worked at his high school or he worked with that was working at Penn State. So this is a big get for South Carolina. I think this is the jewel of their class so far as a 4-star tackle.
Nice. And the next one is a little bit surprising, but once you hear the context, it won't be that surprising. Talon Shetron, which his name has a big chance of being mispronounced and used in all kind of bad ways over the next 3, 4, or 5 years. A 5-star wide receiver, decommitted from Oklahoma. He's number 63 overall, decommitted from Oklahoma, committed to Oklahoma State. And here's the deal. His brother was offered by Oklahoma State on Saturday. He's a 0-star, from what I can tell. So one is a 5-star, one's a 0-star. So they offered the brother. He decided to go to Oklahoma State because he didn't have an offer from the other school in that state. And so the star brother decommitted from Oklahoma and is now, both of them are going to attend Oklahoma State. So they had to offer up 2 scholarships, but they got a 5-star wide receiver at Oklahoma State.
Hey, he's a man. He's 40. He knows what he's doing. But I think that's great. I think it's cool that he's going to go play with his brother. I think that's really neat, and that's smart of Mike Gundy to offer the brother and say, and maybe that was said in an unofficial or an official visit to him, saying, "Hey, if you offer my brother, I'll come to your school too."
Well, you got to do what you got to do when you're Oklahoma State going up against Oklahoma.
God, especially in recruiting, right? Good
No
night.
doubt. Next up, we have Jamarion Miller, a four-star running back, number 172 overall out of Tyler, Texas, committed to Sark at University of Texas. T.J. Dudley, a four-star linebacker, number 199 overall from Montgomery, is going to Oregon. And finally, almost finally, Antavius Woody, a four-star interior offensive lineman from Lafayette, Alabama, to FSU. So FSU's having a good recruiting year so far. This year.
Yeah, Norvell's doing a good job.
We'll see what happens on the field, though. I still have my doubts, at least for this year. It's going to take him a couple of cycles to cycle up. How about that? Or cycle in, or whatever the cycling term is. I thought this was really a unique, I'm trying to avoid that word, a unique thing that I found. I did not realize until recently that the number 3 overall recruit from the 2021 season, he was number 1 on 247, number 3 in the composite, or that's reversed one way or the other. I can't remember. JT Tuamoluau from Sammamish, Washington, is projected to Ohio State. So they're going to get another guy. And they're not even done with 2021 yet. He's projected to Ohio State. I wrote my own. I didn't read my own note. He is top player in 247, but 3rd in the composite. He hasn't committed or signed yet, but it looks like he's going to Ohio State. So they may get that guy too, which is kind of weird because he should be starting school sometime soon, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, normally the football players, especially if they didn't enroll early, have to be for second summer session or some semblance of summer football. So yeah, he would probably have to commit relatively soon. I know they make exceptions for some, and he may be that way. I don't know if he has to finish high school, whatever, a summer class in high school, whatever it may be. No idea about Mr. JTT.
JTT, that's a good.
But it's funny about going to Ohio State, man. They're going to be around for a while. They're going to be around.
They are killing it for sure. Another intriguing thing I saw, and I told you I had little stats about the transfer portal, and I put out that article in Seldom Used Reserve earlier a couple of weeks ago. But I noticed today, I saw a tweet yesterday. I shouldn't say I noticed today. I saw a tweet yesterday from a Texas State guy. Texas State's like 10 miles to my south here from me. I bought you the shirt so you could rep the Bobcats. 22 members in their 2021 class, 21 of them are transfers. They recruited one high school player and 21 transfers. I thought Arkansas State led the league. Led the nation. I think they had like 13 or 16 or something. Texas State has 21 transfers in their 2021 class. One high school player. 17 of those, I think, are from Division I colleges, and 4 are from JCs. The Sun Belt obviously is benefiting a lot from the transfer portal.
Yeah, it's a competitive league, and I believe I may be mistaken, but I believe I saw something similar with this same program last year, and I said in one side of my mouth, I said it's really smart of them to go out and get some players that maybe are searching for a home, a second chance UD1 style, and it's also kind of in the other side of my mouth saying, can these coaches, and I know the coach and defensive coordinator, I believe, are brothers, can they actually recruit, or do they not want to recruit? They just want to recruit the transfer portal. So I know some Clemson folks out there think that Clemson basketball may be the similar type of model here, but it is smart of them to kind of go after these kids, but it's also, and we talk about it from being Clemson folk about that in the room, the chemistry in the room. You're getting brand new guys every year that you got to kind of piece together. Texas State hasn't necessarily been very successful over the years, so I'm not sure it necessarily works, but I think it's a good idea if it does work. And I don't know what the definition of work for Texas State is, whether it's 4 wins, 5 wins, then they'll look like geniuses. But if it doesn't work, then they're going to be out of a job. and the next guy's going to have to try to recruit high school kids.
So Jake Spavital, they had some success. I can't remember. It's been several years now, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, with a transfer quarterback, shocker, from Houston, and they made the playoff and won a game or two. And way back when, in the 80s, they won 2 national championships when their school name was Southwest Texas State, which makes no sense because they're not in the south of Texas and they're certainly not in the west of Texas. But anyway, they won a couple of national championships. But yes, it's been tough times there. And it is a great college town. I don't understand why they're having such a hard time recruiting there, on their own level. There was, I remember when they made it to D1, they had billboards up about the I-35 rivalry because, UT's 20 miles that way north of me. So they thought they were going to compete and all this stuff, and it hasn't happened. And, everybody with common sense realizes they weren't going to compete with Texas, especially for recruits. But it's weird that they haven't had more success than they've had, if you ask me. It's a great college town. It's one of the biggest party schools in Texas, which, it's got 30 or 40,000 students there. Really, it's really huge. I don't get it while they're struggling so much. But
so you might not be able to say JT Tuiamaloa, but you can say San Marcos. It's not San Marcos.
It is not San Marcos. It's San Marcos.
You say that perfectly. But
yes. Well, I've only been here 30 years. You think I get it? It didn't even take me that long to get DJ Uyunglele.
That's true. That's true.
All right. Well, we're going to keep it short tonight, Casey. I know you've been on the road, but hey, coming up on seldomusedreserve.com, John Chancey, our Chancey John. Haven't seen him in the comments tonight. I like to call him Chancey John. That's his Twitter name. He's going to have an article tomorrow I'm going to publish. It's going to be the biggest games of the season for Clemson that Clemson doesn't play at. Right? Wow. He's worried about the strength of schedule and how these games, that Clemson's not even in, could affect Clemson's strength of schedule down the road. I've got an article I've been thinking about for a month now about replay, and I keep getting ready to publish it, and I have 42 more examples of what a horrendous thing replay is. Watched an NBA playoff basketball game a couple of weeks ago where the final 2 minutes took 33 minutes to play. The final 0.9 seconds took 9 minutes to play. There was a play, it would last 0.2 seconds, and they would replay. And they go over there and they talk about it. They come back and 33 minutes to play 2 minutes, 9 minutes to play 0.9 seconds. It is out of control. And so I've got an article on that. It's kind of half serious and half funny, I think. Hopefully it's funny anyway. And then I have another article on Bubba Chandler and his decision coming up. I wrote 2 for the Clemson Junkies, JP site. I had a blast doing that. Always have a blast with the reaction to this because you get the people saying, wow, he should come to Clemson. And I'm like, $3.5 million.
3.5 million reasons not to, as an 18-year-old.
Part of it is pretend you are an electrical engineer and you're going to Clemson to be an electrical engineer. And some company says, you know what, you're the best electrical engineer in this nation, and I want to pay you $3.5 million to come work for me right now. Are you going to go to Clemson and maybe get a similar offer in 3 years, or are you going to take the $3.48 million?
Don't give away your article now. One thing I want to tell you about replay, too, the other night I was watching College World Series, and there was a play Mississippi State was playing, and the catcher got crossed up, and my side hustle is in the umpire world. Catcher got crossed up, puts his glove up in front of the umpire's face. Ball hits the guy's elbow. Umpire calls him back because he didn't see it. But one of the things that the announcers just didn't see or didn't say, I mean, it was so obvious. They were ripping the umpire because it was pretty obvious the kid got hit. But they were ripping the umpire that he didn't see it. But every replay shows this big old catcher's hand just come right up in front of the guy's face. He didn't see it. So they had to go review it. And they're like, I don't understand how this umpire missed that. Watch the daggum replay. You see this big ass hand. Put your hand in front of your face. What do you see? Not a guy getting hit with the ball. So anyway, I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in there. That was one that I was like, you know what? And it was a quick review. They got it right. But the umpire that was behind the plate does a lot of Clemson games. I forget his name, but he does a lot of Clemson games at Clemson.
Well, it seems like they have like the same 3 or 4 umpires there. It just rotate through
They have over here, yeah.
Yeah, especially with like COVID. They probably don't travel as much, so they're just circling around the southeast there, Atlanta, Clemson, South Columbia.
I'll think of his name because he's a good umpire too.
There's it's kind of a half and half of what you just said. It's not really replay, though it is, and it's not really umpiring, though it is. They've got to do something in college baseball about the hit by pitch rule. I saw a guy get hit in the privates the other day, and they didn't give him first base because he didn't get out of the way. I'm like, do you think he tried to? What are you doing? What are you doing, man? He got hit right in the junk, and they don't even give him first base. And he's like bent over complaining. What are you supposed to do? Like, I did that on purpose? Name me a guy that gets hit there on purpose.
I had a 13 and under game, and a guy was wearing an elbow protector, and he wasn't even up on the box, and he got hit. And he didn't really try to get out of the way, but it was probably an 75 to 80 mile an hour fastball, and he didn't know what to do because he was looking curveball. So like he dove in, and then he didn't know what to do, so he did a little movement, and it hit off his elbow. The coach from the opposing team came out and said he didn't make it. He didn't make an attempt. And I just looked at him. I was like, in my judgment, he didn't have a chance to. Go to first. But
right.
Yeah, it's such a weird rule. These guys, unless it's a really fat curveball that's just hanging there doing 15 miles an hour, none of these kids want to get hit. I don't care what level they're at. They don't.
It's the strangest thing in the world to me. And meanwhile, you're watching basketball games where players are literally jumping sideways into the defender to get a foul called and throw up a 3-pointer behind their back, and they go, yeah, that's a foul. 3 shots. It's just it is bizarre, but really have to do something with the replay. It's ruining the game. I'm giving away my article. It's ruining the game. And you kind of know what I'm thinking. Bubba Chandler, and I think JP kind of gave that away too. I mean, it's not really a surprise. I don't think it's a hard decision to make, but I put some numbers to it, which makes it different than the other 2 articles I did for Clemson Junkies. So
nice. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Coming up in a couple of weeks. And John Chancey told me he's working on some stuff. He said he doesn't have anything brilliant to say tonight, but he's working on a couple of articles I think everybody will enjoy. So appreciate you, Chancey John. You and I have been doing this for 54 out of 55 weeks. We're going to do it a couple more weeks. Then we're going to take a week off at the end of July, the 28th. I'll be in Orlando the day before. I'm going to a Tampa Bay game. Hopefully I'll get seats as good as JJ had on the Chop and Beef show. So instead of trying to work all that out and figure out where I'm going to record from, we just take a break. You'll probably need a break. You'll need a front porch drunk day like I had a couple weeks ago, because hopefully you'll be in Charleston by then, or in the Charleston or in South Carolina area, in the Hilton Head area, enjoying the view and smoking a cigar or whatever you're going to do out there. So July 28th, we'll take that week off. Chop and Beef show. I personally am enjoying the live show. I can't always watch. Last week I was watching the Astros with Parker, but tried to chime in a few times. But I enjoy the live show. What do you guys got coming up tomorrow?
Yeah, we're enjoying it too. It's just unfortunately, like I like to add music and things that, well, we're sponsored now, so I probably could get in trouble for it. But and by in trouble, I mean, taking off the live stream. But I'm enjoying it. We're enjoying it. We're enjoying the interaction. That's for sure. Because unlike this show, we're a little uncuffed, if you will, and we like to kind of throw it way out there. JJ and I last week, we did all right. We do our thing. We like to talk sports that Zach doesn't like to talk about when he's not on. So that's what we did a lot of that last week. Locks is back this week, ready to go, and we got a really good show lined up. We actually have research and a real live breakdown of what we're talking about. I just got to figure out how to segue everything. That's one thing that I try to do and make fun. on Chop and Beef. But we're ready to go tomorrow night. We're locked and loaded, and we're going to keep rolling. Probably live from Mom's basement again.
Now, I learned something last week. Originally, it was just you and JJ on the show.
Last week was just JJ and I.
No, I thought I heard that originally, though, when you first started the show.
Oh yeah, so I would do one show on Tuesday nights by myself, and then I'd have guests, and then on Friday I would do a show.
Oh, okay.
So we kind of do what we called the debauchery edition, where we just made it kind of the adult sports center. That's what we were. That was our original vision.
All right. If anybody out there hasn't listened to the Chop and Beef, check it out. I'm looking up at the College World Series, Game 3, Mississippi State 3, Vanderbilt nothing in the top of the third inning. So your bosses will be happy if it all works out.
Very happy. And another note that came out, another stat that came out, it'll be if Mississippi State were to win, it will be their first team national championship ever in any team sport at Mississippi State.
Tiddlywinks, beer pong.
I forget whatever. The schools.
Beef, you froze on me. Mom's basement is not working. Hey, since Beef froze, I'll go ahead and say this. I'll give the rundown. We want to thank everyone in the Facebook group, especially Nelson Wilhite, for all your help, Nelson. We appreciate you more than you know. Everyone on Seldom Used Observe and the college football Facebook group. So everybody that likes Slogo podcast, each and every one of you who listens, likes, shares, and participates. Thank you so much. Until next time, I'm Marty Coleman, Seldom Used Observe. He, the frozen dude, is Casey the Beef Cregan. Talk to you soon.
I think we're done here.